Yeah. That's true.
Are you Carrie? Okay. All right, 6 o'clock. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Just a reminder to silence your cell phones. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman,
Here.
Councilor Horton,
Here.
Councilor Klinkhammer, Councilor Lundstrom,
Here.
Councilor Scalisi,
Here.
Councilor Spradlin, Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Good. We've got a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or corrections for the agenda tonight? Nope. Now they look for motion to approve.
Move to approve the agenda for regular meeting, May 12th, 2025.
Second.
Uh-oh. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Councilor Tyree,
Yes.
Councilor Scalisi,
Yes.
Councilor Horton,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Approval of the minutes. We've all had a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any corrections that you guys saw? If not, I'd look for motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes of the meeting, April 28th, 2025.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Scalisi,
Yes.
Councilor Tyree,
Yes.
Councilor Horton,
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, the motion passes.
And we have lost Eric.
Okay.
You're going to turn it back real quick.
Sure. While you're doing that, I'll do that. So we'll move on to citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council, but it doesn't look like we have anybody here for public comment. So we're going to go into management. First, we have Proclamation 2025-5 in recognition as National Foster Care Month. So we'll have a counselor read. Counselor Horton's going to read that proclamation. Go ahead.
To designate the month of May as National Foster Care Month, whereas children are key to the state's future success, prosperity, and quality of life. Whereas children have the right to thrive, learn, and grow. Whereas foster parents provide the love, safety, and stability that young children need in order to overcome past traumatic experiences in order to reach their full potential. Whereas Colorado foster parents are caring for and nurturing more than 2,000 children and youth in foster care today. Whereas we must come together as a community to recognize the important role foster parents play in caring for children who have experienced abuse, neglect, supporting family reflections, and building strong communities. Whereas there is always a need for more foster parents in order to ensure children's, especially older youth, children with complex needs and siblings have a safe, stable home in their community, whereas the numerous individuals, nonprofit organizations, and public servants who are dedicated to raising awareness about the needs of children and youth in foster care as we all as the individual contribution of the foster parents. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares the month of May 2025 as National Foster Care Month in the city of Brush, Colorado, given under my hand and seal of the city of Brush this 12th day of May 2025.
Thank you. And we've got Carrie Schnickel here from the Department of Human Services. Tell us a little bit more.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for reading and reviewing the proclamation for Foster Awareness Month. We are very fortunate in our county to have some wonderful foster homes that always come through when we need them. I've been at the department almost 10 years, and in my time we haven't really had to sit with kids at the department overnight or have kids in hotels like some counties do in our state. So we're very fortunate to have those who help us, and it takes all of our community to keep our kids safe from, law enforcement to all of our hospitals, schools, and many others that I haven't mentioned. So I thank you for your ongoing support.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, I would look for a motion to approve that proclamation.
I move we approve proclamation number 2025-5, recognition of National Foster Care Month.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Right. That motion passes. Will she get a copy of that? Is that what we do? No, it just gives us this. Okay. Okay. Our next proclamation, 2025-6, in recognition of National Police Week. So we've got a Counselor Tyree is going to read this one.
Proclamation number 25-6 in recognition of National Police Week 2025. To recognize National Police Week 2025 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 750,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the 14 dedicated sworn members of the Brush Police Department when fully staffed. Whereas approximately 55,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported on average each year, resulting in more than 16,000 injuries. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, which was dedicated in 1991 in Washington, D.C. Whereas 148 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring for those lives lost in 2024, 2 of whom were in Colorado. Whereas the number of fallen brothers and sisters across our nation rose 25% in 2024 from the previous year, whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 37th Annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2025, whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 11th through 17th, whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officer Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and for their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Let us honor law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community to have become disabled in the performance of their duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Let us appreciate and support the courageous deeds of officers who risk their own lives and well-being every day. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares May 11 through 17, 2025 as National Police Week in the city of Brush, Colorado, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. Given under the hand of Mayor Dana Sherman and the city of Brush this 12th day of May, 2025.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. So on that, I'd look for a motion to approve this proclamation.
I move we approve proclamation 2025-6 in recognition of National Police Week.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Next we have Proclamation 2025-7 in recognition of National Public Works Week. Got Councilor Scalise
Yes.
reading this one.
Proclamation number 2025-7 in recognition of National Public Works Week 2025 to recognize National Public Works Week May 18th through the 24th, 2025, and honor those serving our community through their efforts in water, wastewater, trash, streets, and stormwater. Whereas the public professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life and well-being of the people of the city of Brush. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees to all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas the year 2025 marks 65th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association / Canadian Public Works Association. Therefore, be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally dedicates May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as Public Works Week in the city of Brush, Colorado, and publicly recognizes our public works and utility staff members for their hard work. Given under the hand and seal of the city of Brush this 12th day of May, 2025, Mayor Dana Sherman.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I'd look for a motion to approve that proclamation.
Move to approve proclamation number 2025-7 in recognition of National Public Works Week.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We have another proclamation, 2025-8, in recognition of National Hospital Week. Councilor Lundstrom's going to read this one.
All right. To recognize National Hospital Week of May 11th through 17th, 2025, and to honor the service and dedication of healthcare workers nationwide in our Brush community. Whereas National Hospital Day was created in 1921 as a way to encourage trust in hospitals in the wake of the Spanish flu outbreak of 1918. It was later turned into a week in 1953, coinciding with Florence Nightingale's birthday on May 12th, to honor her role in revolutionizing healthcare or hospital care in the mid-1800s. And whereas for the past 72 years, hospitals across the country have come together to celebrate its history, technology, and dedicated professionals. And whereas National Hospital Week highlights every hospital, health system, and person involved in keeping our community healthy and providing the structure to deliver health care. And whereas Eastmoreland County Hospital and its clinics and departments are essential to the Brush community and are trusted to provide top quality care and service. And whereas this week and always, the Brush community extends its gratitude to our community's professionals in healthcare in their dedication and sacrifice. Therefore, be it resolved, the Brush City Council formally declares May 11th through 17th, 2025 as Hospital Week in the city of Brush, Colorado, and publicly honors the service of healthcare workers in our community and all communities across our nation where health comes first. Given under the hand seal of the city of Brush, this 12th day of May 2025, the Honorable Mayor Dana Sherman.
Very good. Thank you very much. I'd look for a motion to approve that proclamation.
I move we approve proclamation 2025-8, the recognition of National Hospital Week.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. That motion passes. And we've got one more. I will go ahead and read this one. Proclamation 2025-9 in recognition of National Economic Development Week. To designate the week of May 11th through May 17th, 2025 as National Economic Development Week. Whereas economic development is a process that is strengthened by the critical partnerships between economic development professionals and local government leadership to promote a shared vision for developing resilient communities. And whereas economic development promotes economic well-being and quality of life for a community by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas economic development stimulates and incubates entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is the hallmark of the American economy. And whereas economic development is engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural and urban, local, state, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. And whereas economic development attracts and retains high-quality jobs, develops vibrant communities, and improves the quality of life in the region. And whereas the City of Brush is dedicated to creating a vibrant, business-friendly atmosphere and economic development programs and partnerships to support its businesses and the community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares the week of May 11th through May 17th, 2025 as Economic Development Week and reminds individuals of the importance of this community celebration, which supports expanding career opportunities and making lives better. Given under my hand and seal of the City of Brush this 12th day of May 2025. All right, I look for a motion to approve that proclamation.
Move to approve proclamation number 2025-9 in recognition of National Economic Development Week.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, I think May is our busiest proclamation month.
That's
It
right.
is. It's like an entire meeting for that. All right, but those are important, so thank you. We'll move on to finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for April 29th, 2025 through May 12th, 2025 totaling $517,203.80.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, motion passes. We're going on to staff reports. Tyler Purvis, Community Development.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Pleasure to be here tonight in our newly decorated council chambers. It's nice in here. First off, downtown festoon lighting. I don't think I mentioned this last time, but we've been talking about it coming for a while, but spoke with the contractor this past week, so the week of June 2nd, it got pushed back a bit, but the week of June 2nd is when they were scheduled to get started in the downtown area, putting poles in and then running tension wire to the poles on both sides of the 200 block of Clayton Street, and then running all the festoon lighting across, plugging it in, and voila. So it should be a 2 to 3 week process. They're wrapping up the project elsewhere right now. That's the reason for them coming a little bit later, because they were going to come initially the middle of this month, but their schedules did whatever they did. But that's going to be going on soon. We'll be communicating that to the community and all the downtown business owners. There likely will be some disruption during that time frame for the business owners. As we get closer, we'll work the exact schedules as to when they'll be doing what, so we can communicate that to all the business owners downtown, so they're aware of any disruptions. I don't know if it's going to be significant or not. The stuff happening outside your front door can be disruptive. So the idea is to get that done as quick and efficiently as possible, and then everyone can enjoy the new downtown lighting. On another item, the Historic Preservation Board, for which I have the honor of serving as a staff representative. We have spoken over the last couple of meetings on the idea of establishing a fund in partnership with the Chamber Foundation to generate and administer some funds to serve for leveraging state grant funds for historic preservation efforts. So funding could come from, we're certified local government, so potentially funds through there, private donations, maybe local government contributions, different fundraising initiatives, collaboration with state and national historic preservation organizations. But the exact details are being worked out, but that's something that the Historic Preservation Board has talked about getting involved with, and so we've worked on putting together a tentative plan for that. So on a practical level, what that might look like is if there's a house or a business that's designated or wants to be designated as historic, and there's some restoration work that they would like to do, but it gets very, very expensive to do that, and that if we're able to have funds set aside is that depending on whether it's a privately owned or a publicly owned or nonprofit organization, you can apply for funds, and there's a match required, either a 25% match if it's a nonprofit or local government, or a 50% match if it's privately owned. And so those funds could be used toward that in order to gain more funds to be reinvested into the building for historic preservation. So coming up with money is always a challenge. It's a big limitation for a lot of property owners. So this is something that we're trying to do to be proactive and facilitate investment a little bit more in historic preservation. Number 3, on Friday we being the city, we did approve a site plan for the school district for their secondary campus. They want to make some improvements over there. This is tied to the multi-year discussion that we've had with them on coming up with some conditions and final terms with approval for that. So we sent that over to the school district, so everything is looking good as of now. They have some exciting projects that they want to do at the secondary campus, and so there are some elements tied to the 2019 site plan that were never finalized, including some stormwater aspects on the practice field to the north that's caused some issues over on Daniel Street. So that was one of our conditions, was making those improvements, because those residents over there have seen the consequences of some of that drainage going down into that cul-de-sac and onto their properties. And then we're going to be doing monitoring of traffic counts over the years as well. And we set a threshold of a decrease that we're looking for on that intersection of Center and Eaton. So that's exciting that we've taken that step forward on things. Number 4, just a general FYI, the Board of Adjustment is going to be meeting in here tomorrow for reducing the parking lot spaces over at Meadow Vista Apartments. The short story on that is that they needed a place to put trash. Initially, it was going to be in the building, and they carted it out every week. But that was more of a task than they initially anticipated, and so they wanted to put 2 spaces aside and create a container, and then create a screening, and then put your dumpster inside there. However, the current parking spaces was approved as a reduction from what the standard is. So they already went to the Board of Adjustment a couple of years ago asking for a reduction, for which they were approved. Now they're asking for a couple of less. Not a huge ask, but one that would be required to go to the Board of Adjustment nonetheless. At our last meeting, I did present in work session community engagement and all that we're doing on a staff level, all the different avenues. I know at that meeting, the general consensus, it seemed like from council, was that, we pretty much agree that these are all the things, and this is roughly where we would say these are the strong areas and the ones that aren't as impactful, but everything looked good going forward. So unless I hear otherwise from council, we'll continue to proceed as it's laid out there. And then the final one is just a thank you to the community overall, and especially the Chamber for their support on putting together Cinco de Mayo this past weekend before this last one. Another good event. We're always looking to grow those, and great community engagement, great assets, great elements that we have to add to our community for things for people to do. If there's any feedback, we should do this different, we should add this. If you ever thought about that, feel free to pass that on to staff, and we'd be glad to incorporate. So that's everything for my staff report tonight. If there's no questions, I'll step aside.
Question.
Yes, sir.
And your point, I think it was point number 1, the downtown lighting.
Yeah.
Any discussion about working with the chamber to have some type of celebration of the initial lighting of the downtown?
A little bit. We had initially hoped that it was going to get done right before Cinco de Mayo, and then we'll just tie into that. Obviously, that did not happen, and we don't have any current events that are normally lined up every year. And so it's still on the table. We've talked about it loosely at this point, but there's nothing firm in place. If there's ever any questions, feel free to stop by.
Tyler, can you give a short update on the Central School project?
Yeah, so they are still working on phase 2. If you've been over there recently, you've seen some landscaping taking place. They've taken all the weeds and whatnot, put some rocks down and some boulders in different places. Still ongoing overall. So working with the developer on that. We put together a mitigation plan as far as how they're going to deal with any mold that is still remaining inside of the gymnasium. It's basic. It's pretty simple as far as the steps in place, but we have that in place. We're going to go out there tomorrow, our building inspector and I, and meet with the property owner to touch base on where they are on phase 2 upstairs and some of the things that are going to be required before a CO can be issued for phase 2. It's kind of a long list, but we've been working with them over the last few months And then once all that gets buttoned up, which includes a landscaping plan, a parking plan for the long-term build-out of things, and then we'll focus our conversation tomorrow on future phases and what that looks like and all the implications.
Thank you very much. Chief Center.
Evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Just a few things to kind of hit on. Firstly, I want to go on the recovery from the crash from a few weeks ago. I think it's going really well. Officer Wells is on vacation, so he's getting some much needed time with family. So, but before leaving, he seems like he's progressing really well. So he's talking to me pretty regularly. So up and on from there, which I think is a fantastic thing. Summertime is slowly approaching, so we're showing a lot more busy activity going on. The staff was pretty busy over the last couple weekends, a lot of arrests, unfortunately a lot of drugs been going on. So invariably as the weather picks up, we tend to get busier, so we'll see how everything continues to go on. Field training is going well. All 3 staff are ready to hopefully get done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I believe we should have one done at the very beginning of June, with the other 2 getting done kind of relatively middle of June. So hopefully we'll get them in relatively before summertime really picks up. We did make a selection on the academy spot that we'll be sending in July. So Brianna Dodson, our CSO, was selected to attend the academy, so she's going. On the plus side for that, the other person that was in the running for that position is actually interested in talking about the CSO position, so we may be able to have Dodson take over as the academy role and potentially move her on CSO position. So hopefully it'll be a quick turnaround. We won't have any openings, so it'll be nice to be able to get that done. We've got the two new cars that we were expecting in, just recently got in. I think they both look really good. We did end up going with an Explorer and a Durango. We had bad experience with the previous Durango, but we're hoping it was just a lemon situation. And I drove it around for a little bit for the last couple of days, and I think it worked out really nice. So hopefully we get a couple of things done to them, and then we can get them out on the road with some of the patrol guys, because they want to vie and fight for the opportunity to get the new car. So. Lastly, I want to talk about, I know I had a lot of questions regarding the vandalism. I think it's on South Cameron right now. The old cheese factory has a lot of graffiti and some derogatory comments written on the side of it. So typically in those matters, we kind of resolve those like we do other nuisances in town. So weeds, trash, etc. Usually goes towards the property owner, talk to them, let them know the property's not in compliance and it looks bad, and have them fix that. I think it's a decent system, but I don't think it's very good community-oriented wise, because they're obviously not the ones doing it to their own property, and they have to take the money, the time to get it cleaned up or hire somebody to clean up. So I'm actually going to task my staff to reach out to some other communities, some other agencies, and just see if there's any other programs or things to get in place to help. If we have this business or even some other property owners in town where we can't solve the crime for them, because a lot of these crimes ultimately can't be resolved if there's not cameras, there's not some kind of witness or something for them, so it makes it difficult to have them clean it and then potentially get their funds back or money back via restitution. So I want to lean towards potentially getting some kind of system in place to where if we have any volunteers in town that we can reach out to help with the cost of either paint or time and energy to kind of help get things put in place. I think it would benefit the community a lot more versus just telling people, hey, your property has a bunch of graffiti on there, you need to fix it, because it does take money and time. And invariably, if you have that stuff fixed, there's not a guarantee someone's not going to come back and be like, okay, I got a fresh canvas and do it again. So I'd like to be able to push there, so I'm going to have my staff kind of look into it and just see what's out there and whether other agencies and municipalities are doing, and see if we can't do something to kind of fix that and kind of also bring community together. Anytime we have stuff like this, it just makes the whole community itself look kind of poor. So, getting everybody on board to kind of take a positive approach to the community might help to benefit and make it a little better program. So we'll look into it. Hopefully we can do that. In the meantime, we'll probably at least contact the property owner and let them know, hey, we do need to get this cleaned up, and hate to throw it back on them, but it is their building, it is their responsibility. But if we can do something to help mitigate that, we definitely will. Other than that, I didn't have anything too grand or major, other than just we're busy as usual. Stuff never stops. So available for any comments, questions, concerns anybody's had over the last couple of weeks.
No.
We'll be over yonder if anybody has anything come up.
Thank you for keeping us safe. So we don't have any questions. Fire Chief Ray Yerk.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple items. So this Saturday is our final practical day for our Firefighter 1 course. So there'll be participants from Morgan and Wiggins that come up that did the class together, so there'll be a total of 20. So once that's done, then we have to go take our written exam, and then we'll be starting our hazmat operations next week. So right out of this into the next one. So that's scheduled to be completed at the end of June. So if we get that all done, I've said it before, that'll give us the most state certified firefighter 1 and hazmat ops that we've ever had, to my knowledge. So kudos to those guys for taking the time to get trained. We have 3 new candidates in the process of coming on the department, so if those 3 make it through, that'll put us at 29, which we haven't been at 29 in quite a few years. So numbers are coming up, which is good. We're getting younger. If it wasn't for Mike Dory, I'd be the oldest one on the department right now. So I got to keep Mike around for a few more years. Other than that, guys from the call are doing good. Seem to kind of made it over the hump. So hopefully we don't have to go through one of those again for the rest of my career and hopefully theirs. Chief and I had talked, I think we were planning first meeting in June to hand out a couple of awards. So look forward to doing that. That's all I have unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you. Miranda Beckert.
The good news is that the room is pretty much done. There's a few little things that need to still go in or be completed. The logo back here, Fort Morgan Signs, is working on that. It should be the middle part of June. The bad news is right now we don't have an air conditioner, and I think it's probably just something as simple as the wiring of the thermostat back together after the project was completed. But we have Rupel's Plumbing coming in on Wednesday just to make sure and take a look. As part of the room refresh, we had 3 individuals here for the city working on a project, Mayor Sherman, myself, and Chan McCall, putting the colors together, the plan together, and then our general contractor was Livingstone Construction, Jesse Estrada, Joel Diaz, and their crew. Did a lot of work along with their painters, Deb and Luis. Blowdorn Lumber did the countertop and the carpet, and then Timeless Window Fashions did our window treatments. It turned out really great. The whole team, or all teams, worked really well together. It just kind of all fell into place, so we were very fortunate for that. Like I said, there's a few more things that need to come back in, but I look for it to be completely finished by our next meeting. And speaking of our next meeting, it's scheduled for May 26th, but that is Memorial Day, which is an observed holiday for staff. So we will be canceling that meeting, but if a special meeting is needed, I'll coordinate with council first to make sure we come up with a good date, and then we'll go from there. Otherwise, then the following meeting, June 9th, would be our next regularly scheduled meeting. We have our CML District 1 spring meeting this Thursday in Ray. We have 2 staff and our mayor and mayor pro tem that will be attending. And then, of course, we have our CML annual conference coming up next month, and we have quite a few going to that. So, one other thing to mention, Monty wanted me to report to council how many chicken permits we currently have in Brush, and that total number is 6. So, just to let you know. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Kim Dykes.
I have nothing for you this evening.
Alrighty. Our city attorney, Dan Crabb.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish I was there to see the new council chambers, but I unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. So I don't have anything to share with you guys, but happy to answer any questions you might have.
I don't think anybody has anything for you, but thanks for being on.
Thank you.
All right, Monty Torres.
Okay, a few things. Some of these are passed on by department heads that weren't here tonight. First one from Lance, Prairie Trails Park. It's still moving forward. You'll see a little more construction picking up now that they're back on it here this spring. And Lance said that he was going to come give a very thorough update at the next meeting. He also mentioned the golf course, extremely busy so far this season. It's been really good. Also, later this year, Lance is planning to have some discussions regarding the swimming pool. That was one of the priorities that we had as far as starting to have those discussions and knowing the direction of the pool for the future. And we also had a few people that commented to him that they would like to be on a committee if there was going to be one. I'm still working on a land agreement that the city council directed me to move forward on. More information to come on that at future meetings, just working through last minute details. From Dale, he wanted to relay that he's moving forward with street projects. They're all out to a contractor to give him quotes on the different projects that he has. These are maintenance projects for the most part. A lot of milling of some of the streets, slurry sealing, crack filling, patching, chip sealing. A lot of the prep work, or almost all of the prep work, we do in-house, and then we bring in companies that will lay down the slurry seal or the chip seal. So that is moving forward, and this is year 2 of us going very, very heavy on street improvements. Going to be about 9 different streets or areas that we're going to focus on this year. And then we have one more year after this, and then we think we're going to be fairly caught up. But we're going to reevaluate that point in time to see if we want to go another year or 2 heavy on the maintenance. And what we're hoping to do is really go heavy on the maintenance, get really caught up, and then we start identifying streets that we want to rebuild, meaning full depth reclamation, I think he called it, full depth rebuilding of the streets, just so you get a lot more life out of those. So Dale's working on those. Also, interesting enough, in regards to water, we've been doing this water meter exchange or a replacement program for a number of years. During the COVID years, we couldn't get the parts, and so now the parts are in, and we're tackling this over a 3-year period of time, and we're somewhere around 60% or moving close to 60% of the water meters in town have been changed out to the new style. And these are more accurate, and so the readings the revenues should reflect. That was one of the questions council had. When we're looking at water rates, if our meters aren't measuring or documenting the water accurately, maybe we're losing revenue there. So we're going to see if that makes a big difference or not. And we also internally, between the front desk, the water department, and someone else, front desk, water department, and Dell, they're really looking closely at water usages. When we start changing out these meters, we start getting some odd numbers back from the water meters. So we're going through, and this last month they did a quick audit, and they had somewhere around 50 different water meters that were kind of questionable. They either weren't reading at all, or we hadn't had a meter read for quite a while. So they've already addressed all of those 50, and we'll see if that improves our accountability of water usage. And just a general comment for the community, just everyone's turning on their sprinklers now, and we want to encourage water conservation. And so this is the best time to adjust your sprinkler heads and the settings on your sprinklers, the timers, just so we don't water the streets or overwater the yards, and we save water for the city of Brush. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, Mayor, council reports. Anybody have anything to report? I did have a citizen tell me today, thank you for what we've done at the golf course. Said that the seating and the stuff we put down has made a significant difference, and they were very, very grateful. So.
Yeah, and just a note on that is, when we did that, there was a cost to it, and so that'll be in future bills that we'll pay. But we did a few different things out there, from laying down the blankets to hydro seeding, mulching. In places we've tried some long long-term, slow-release fertilizers, just to help things get going well. Everything that you see out there, the tall stuff, that's triticale, and so that's an annual, it'll come up now, but then next year it's not going to come back unless there's some volunteer seeding going on. But we hope that the other grass seeds below, that they get a good start. And then there is a chance that we might have to do a little bit extra next year. And so it's kind of an experiment we're doing out there, different things in different areas. So we'll see which works the best for that sandy soil. But what we do know is the edges of the ponds and that hillside, with what we put down there, the coconut fibers and with the seed embedded into it, that should hold pretty well. The other, I hope it does, but we'll see how, if we get rains this summer and what type of seed gets established there.
Good. And then I just wanted to, we've been talking about this facelift in these chambers since before I was mayor, so at least 5 years. And so I just want to thank Lauren and Chan for kind of organizing it and getting it all going. Finally, I think the time was right, and we've had it in the budget for several years, and finally got to do it, and came together very nicely. So thank you.
That's great.
For putting that together. And if nobody has anything else, I will look for a motion to adjourn so we can move into our work session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Sorry, Dan.
I think it's better when you use the gavel.
I think so too. I feel bad because Dan's microphone is like right there. Otherwise, I would have hit it a little